Beijing, beside being the capital of China, is also a name of a marque of BAIC, one of the big five in China. They came to Bangladesh a couple of years back with the rather unfortunately named BJ40, a very off-road focused SUV that somewhat looks like a Jeep but not quite. It catered to a very specific audience but not the mass market people who's looking for a crossover. Last year they fixed that with this. This is the Beijing X55II. We recently had a go with this car, and while we got our own experiences, we just thought it would be better if we bring in some extra help. This time we decided to bring in someone who actually knows cars and, much like us, are hopelessly obsessed with it. Guys, say hello to Rezvan from Trusty Garage.
Hello. So, thank you for having me on
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, so I had 3 days with this car, and today Robert is going to have his first impression. I just wanted to share my experience that I had with the Beijing X55. You better shut up now. So, Robert, on to you.
Thank you, Rezvan. Now, as someone who laid eyes on this car just a few days back, the first thing that came into mind is the color. And this key fob situation, we'll get to that in a bit. Beijing calls it
Yellow.
which in my eyes doesn't look yellow. To me, it reminds me of a green apple. And I think it looks like something else to you as well. You called it something else.
Well, few of my friends termed it as Lao, very paka Lao, and I personally call it Bangi.
Color name question aside, we actually both quite like this color, considering the road is completely filled with either silver, white, or gray or
Gray.
yeah, which is something we are both also guilty of. Beside that, let's talk about the design. About the name, it's X55II. Now, as I understand it, while we are stuck with this weird alphanumeric name, the Chinese version got a different name, which is actually much more interesting.
Yeah, in China, this is called the Beijing Mofang.
Which doesn't translate to what I think it is.
Exactly. It translates to Rubik's Cube in English. I like to call it Mofang because the car is actually Mofang.
Okay, that's one translation I wasn't thinking of,
Yeah.
but all right. About cubes, well, these are not exactly cubes, but the car has this
Honeycomb style grille, but however they have this name called dissolving grille. দেখতে পাচ্ছেন যে এখান থেকে একদম পুরো নিচে আস্তে আস্তে জিনিসটা dissolve হয়ে যাচ্ছে. It's like shattering away. So very futuristic.
So it's just crumbling away.
Yeah, crumbling away.
Moving up, these are just LEDs, by the way. These are not the headlights. These also have that dissolving, crumbling thing design element. Here there's a small grille, and for the actual headlights, these are down tucked in right here, which we initially thought as fog lamps.
Yeah, that's the latest design for most of the Chinese brands now. I believe this is better in the sense that right now বাংলাদেশের একটা সিচুয়েশন আছে যে অপোজিট সাইড থেকে যখন একটা গাড়ি আসে we have this glare situation because of the aftermarket LEDs and not being aligned. However, I actually prefer this type of positioning of the headlight. এটা রাস্তাতে লাইটটাও খুব বেটার ভাবে portray করে, project করে, and it does not bother the oncoming traffic.
All right. Now, one of the weirdest quirk we have noticed of this car so far is the lock situation. It's a bit sensitive, although as you've mentioned that this is a habit that is common in most Chinese cars.
Most Chinese vehicles that has proximity sensors.
They're a bit too sensitive.
A bit too sensitive, yeah.
All right.
We quite have not figured out when it will actually unlock and not unlock. So rule of thumb হচ্ছিল when you have the key fob in your pocket, you want to get out, it's going to lock itself, and then when you come near the car, it's going to unlock. That is the agenda. That is the entire plethora of things. However, since we are now reviewing the car, we are coming into the proximity quite a lot. We are getting in and getting out, confusing the car a bit.
Yeah. All right. Now, before moving to the side, let's check out the engine. Let me just pop it.
Okay.
Now, about the engine, it's a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, which has a bit of an interesting name you recently just found out. What's it
Well,
called?
so this is called the Magic Core Power. Jeta Chinate is one of the top 10 engines because it has a very low sound vibration. It has been put through a very extensive test. ওরা প্রায় 40,000 hours German standard
40,000 hours.
yeah 40,000 hours plus বলে ওরা they go through a rigorous test in German strict German standard সাথে সাথে ছিল I have already talked about the vibration and the noise we'll put the details up here on the screen.
Yep. But if I remember from the top of my head, it makes something around 170 horsepower and 300 Newton meters of torque.
Right. So this vehicle is a 1.5 liter turbocharged inline 4. By brochure, it has 130 kilowatt power. That is roughly 174 horsepower, but the brochure claims 184 horsepower. But nonetheless, it's a quite impressive power figure for a car like this.
And when sent to the front wheel with a 7-speed, it's actually sometimes scary fast.
Yeah,
as we both figured it out.
It kind of has one of the smoothest DCT transmission. It's a ZF transmission. As you know, ZF হচ্ছিল BMW transmission supplier, and they are coined as one of the most reliable and smooth DCT transmissions.
Speaking of Germans, this engine actually has German lineage, right?
Right. So, so the 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, this engine's architecture is same as the 2 liter turbocharged engine from a Mercedes GLC.
All of this.
Well, so how is that possible? So, the BAIC has a major
They're the
share.
joint venture partner
Right,
in China, right?
in China. So, BAIC produces the Mercedes Benzes that are distributed and sold in China.
So CD and Mercedes are made by BAIC.
Right. এক ঘরের ছেলে পেলে সবাই।
That's one way to put it. All right, I think we can all talk about the engine without driving it. So let's drop it and check out the rest of the car.
All right.
And please shut up. As we move to the side, the first thing we notice are these wheels that are, I think, 18 inches?
These are actually 19s. So this is a 225, 55 R19 and 99H speed rating.
And if I recall correctly, you really like the ride of them.
Road noise অনেক কম, so there is nothing that's going to bother me that's coming from the tires.
All right, and ever since Tesla made it, I think the rims are very aerodynamic, for like a
very
better description.
futuristic.
One thing I wonder is, do they actually help with the mileage or anything? Unfortunately, I don't think we have a way to check that.
We would only if we had a wind tunnel.
I'll check it on the wish list.
Yep.
Beside that, we got some really nice floating ORVMs with built-in indicators. Again, another Tesla element. These pull-out handlebars, which if I remember correctly, can actually break ice. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Now, okay, there is no way to test it for us, but that actually made us a question that if it has enough force to break ice, will it crush your finger if you actually accidentally put your finger in it?
Why don't you try it?
Why
Give me
am
the
I
key.
the guinea pig?
No, it's your review, man. So let's check. Robert, put your fingers in. Drum rolls. How do you feel?
Nothing actually. That was very gentle.
So this is one of their features that is not going to crush your fingers. Not this, not the windows, but I wouldn't go and test it.
Why is that so difficult for a certain South African man to copy?
No comments. On to the back.
Moving on, the Beijing has an interesting twist to its B-pillar situation. Instead of having a blank plastic with a floating element, they actually shoved a chrome piece in it, which actually does a nice job of breaking up the two parts. And instead of just making this thing completely black, just like many other cars do as a cost-cutting measure, they actually put in a nice little window, which again, a nice touch. This is the fuel cap. It stays locked when you keep it locked. However, if you unlock it, all you have to do is press it and it pops right out. Inside it's got, what's the size of this thing again?
This is a 53 liter tank.
Okay, 53-liter tanks are a little smaller than what you get in Japanese JDM sedans, if I'm not wrong, but still plenty enough for what it is. At the back, you got this interactive LED pixel. I'm guessing their own personalized, patented tail lamps, which also have that disintegrating pixel element, that and which is actually a light bar that pretty much runs all across the rear, broken up by this Beijing badge. And at top, you got one of the more interesting element of this, namely the spoiler. All car has this, every crossover has this, but in this case, instead of one, you get two. They are broken up in two pieces.
So they call it the split rear wing. I'm not pretty sure how aerodynamic this is, or actually does it. Definitely it puts some sort of downforce. There are some active vents right here, but again, a wind tunnel is the only way to verify this.
That or driving really, really fast, which I'm not sure we can do legally.
Yeah.
Underneath, you get window wiper, which is a nice touch that I really miss in my Corolla. The power tailgate, this massive fake diffuser thingy, and a as I was saying, a power tailgate, and what's it called? The exhaust is tucked underneath, so you might mistake it for EV, and in fact, you can get it as a EV in China.
In China, right.
Now, moving in, you get a massive flat cargo bay, which how much does it hold again?
It holds around 350 liters. For me, it's a bit compromising. কারণ তুমি একটু আগে যেটা বললা যে this car in China is available in a EV version. So এটার chassis was made with EV in mind. So একটু compromise হচ্ছে, but then again, it is getting a spare wheel, and you can tow in. Come here. You can tow in a lot of other things, and almost you have a full size wheel right there. So it's a 135. It's a 17-inch wheel. So that's not bad.
Now, if this isn't enough space for you, what you can do is, as Sakib will demonstrate.
Yeah, I need to go to the other side. Continue.
This is a 60-40 split. That means for the rest of it, you need to go around and open this door and pull this latch, and this thing will drop down. Now, Sakib, you actually used this space for a road trip just a few days back. So how was it?
So I couldn't use the 60-40 split because I had 4 passengers, including myself. I was driving with 3 other passengers. This 350-liter space was good enough to hold at least 2 luggages and some small bags. And with this on, there are different and various explanations for how to use this and how not to use this. I just kept it like that to keep my cargo in space. I will give you a photo where I had 1 luggage and some other couple of bags. So didn't move, no issues. I could stow away this bag. This is my travel bag. I always carry this, so I could easily put this in this netted place. You'll see this in the B-roll probably, and other water bottles. Like I had a 2-liter water bottle right here. That's my emergency backup water, and every door cards had bottle holders. So there was 1 bottle in every door card.
All right. You didn't need to replace this, right? Or remove this?
No.
But if you wanted to, as I understand it, it's actually rather easy to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. One minor annoyance I have when I figured this out is that there is no easy place to store this in the car.
Well, we gotta be creative about this. So whenever you're going to stow it away, you can either place it here, and then you can put your large objects there. So
yeah,
that's one way to do it. There are vehicles where there is a dedicated space for stowing this part.
Although I wouldn't recommend you kidnap someone with this, because unlike many other cars in this country, this thing does come with an emergency release lever.
Right. So you can actually hop on from the front to the back, fold this down, and get out. So if you have the fear that you will be kidnapped, lend them your car. Ask them to drive.
Okay. Also, apparently this isn't actually designed to be opened that easily for obvious reasons. All right, let's put this back. Let's put the seat backs, and let's figure out what the rear seats are like, because we are pretty much being steamboiled right now.
All right, let's go.
Now, getting in the back row, the first thing you notice is, well, the cabin color situation. This particular one is two-tone. red on black. And honestly, it's not only nice to look at, it's actually very comfortable. You actually mentioned something about the seats when we talked about it a couple of days back.
You can call this a zero gravity seat, but I would coin this as very plush and ergonomic at the same time. So these seats are not very squishy. You don't get sucked into this. Rather, it's very ergonomic, and rear seats are adjustable. Wait, if I can reach from here, yeah. So I can lean back, and this is a very comfortable situation for a long haul or even a short drive in the city.
All right. Actually, you also mentioned that these seats doesn't have the cars that a lot of cars in the similar segment have. That these are not too comfortable.
Yeah. So what happens
or rather
is
too soft.
With me and my passengers, their first verdict was, "Where did you find this lounger in a car seat?"
Okay.
So in the long haul, in the long journey, what we faced is if your seats are too comfy, in the sense that you are getting sucked in, like the lounger or the sofas that you sit in, it is very easy to get fatigued because the car moves forward, back, and laterally. So in that body roll, at times you might feel nausea, but in this you don't. And to be very honest, what adds to the entire car cabin is the full panoramic sunroof.
This humongous piece of glass.
Yes.
That is currently blinding me.
Please hold on to that for a while. So, a panoramic sunroof ta hote, and the room that this cabin gets, the amount of light that this cabin gets, it's very eerie. So it's very spacious, and you actually do not feel very stuffed like you would feel in a Toyota CHR.
Yep. I mean, I'm sitting here even as a person who recently gained a lot more weight than he likes to admit. I'm still comfortable. I'm not feeling any pressure in my stomach, even though that's a very common problem I have recently. And besides that, you get some really nicely wrapped. These are soft touch, right?
Yeah, this is a soft touch.
Not leather. Ambient lighting. I'm not sure if that's popping up on camera. A couple of AC vents. These that look like they will be rather difficult to clean without a vacuum cleaner.
It's not very self-cleaning friendly because of this particular design.
Serrated design, yeah. Piano black plastic. I'm not a fan of it. Some people like it, but I'm already seeing a bunch of scratch on it. Underneath, you get USB charging port, center armrest with couple of cup holders, which can hold a bottle. And no, we are not sponsored by Prawn. On the side, you get speakers, lots of them. What are these?
This particular unit has got 8 speakers, just like other variants. So sound quality in this car is average. I wouldn't say it's something that is mentionable. It's a passable audio quality.
All right. What do your family think, Todd?
They think the speakers on my 3 Series is better.
Okay. To be fair, that's a Beamer. Anyway, do we have anything else to know? Oh, this car has
reading lights.
Yeah, those are nice. And actually, they actually have some 3D elements built into it. All right, that's all there is about the second row seat. We like it. It's comfortable. It's nice. Let's see what it's like to drive, or rather, what it's like to sit on the place where you're supposed to drive this car.
I'll assure you, the front seats are equally roomy.
All right. All right, as we get into the driver, or rather the front seats of the BEIC X55II, yes, we're for the following period, we're just gonna call it the Mofang. At the front, you get a 10. What's the exact size?
It's a 10.25 inch instrument cluster,
which you can play with these two balls, which can be used to check the mileage, tire pressure, and what if you're having music playing. Right below that, you got a fuel gauge that actually shows how many kilometers, or rather an estimation of how many kilometers you can drive this car. But if I understand it, you have mixed experience with this thing.
Here's the thing. I have spoken to owners of X55 too. I spoke to a couple of them, and everybody confirmed that they're getting an average from 10 to 12 kilometers per liter. However, in my experience, I don't know, probably I had a bad luck with the fuel. I only got somewhere around 10 to 11 liters per 100 kilometers. That roughly translates to about 9 kilometers per liter. So not that great. I expected better because I went to the highway, and I'm not very thrashy on the pedal when I'm going on highways. But then again, this car provokes you to pressure it and go fast. One particular experience I would want to share is whenever you're driving this car in one of the three modes, like comfort mode, eco mode, or smart mode, the car only offers you 270 Newton meters of torque. The moment you go to sport mode with a touch of a button, or you just put this thruster like star shape gear lever, the moment you go to sports mode, you get 305, the full torque.
Yeah, that actually caught us by quite a surprise when we tried it in a relatively enclosed space in Bonani a couple of days back.
Right.
Beside the screen situation, it's parked on, as you said, a dashboard that is the company called Starship Design. And if you are Star Trek friend, you can actually see this actually looks a bit like an impulse engine vent. Unfortunately, the JJ price impulse engine vent. At the middle, you get another 10-inch screen. I don't remember the exact size. We'll find
So this is a 10.1 inch, to be fair.
One annoying gripe over this screen is you can't use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto for it, and politics is to blame. There's one. I think you have a better explanation.
Yeah, so this car is using Harmony OS that is built by Huawei, and as you know, in China, Google is banned, so they cannot make use of the Google Play or the Android Auto or Apple CarPlay situation right there. So we hope in future that they're going to figure out a way and offer Android Auto in this. Yes, there are some manufacturers, Chinese manufacturers, who are offering Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in their car. That is only for the export variants. This particular unit, it wasn't an export variant for Bangladesh, so we did not get that feature.
Yeah. Now, beside the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, the InterSystem is actually rather responsive, and they actually added a workaround. But again, you tried that. It's a phone mirror system, which you think is better off not being, you are not using.
It's better that you don't use it. So here I'll show you. They have this Carbit link. Put the camera in the center. Carbit link. I have the app for it now because I was very curious to use my map functions or my navigations. So we have to connect from here. I'll start connect. Connect the phone via USB or wireless. I'll go for wireless. And it's being loading, it's connected. So these are the only two options that you get. I can either use my phone from here, I can use my Spotify from here, but anything else that has to be used, you see there is a phone icon. It's asking me to go to my phone, and it starts mirroring it. So if the car prompts me to use my phone while I'm driving, I wouldn't be very...
This is unusable. It needs to be... Can you actually expand it now?
Nope, you can't.
That's annoying. I mean, what's the point?
Well, if I turn it down like this, that's the only way I can use it. So then I'll have to play.
And you get no screen input whatsoever.
Nothing.
Yeah, this isn't...
Nothing at all.
I wouldn't call this convenient.
So I would rather put my phone somewhere like here.
Or just here, yeah.
Yeah, just look at it like this.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
I mean, you understand my frustration, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling frustrated. Beside the screen mirroring situation, another gripe I personally have with it is the climate control situation. Much like every Chinese car, there is no button to control your climates. If you want to change anything, you have to, for example, this car does have ventilated seats, which I love, but to get access to them, you have to press this, then this, and then this, then it will turn off. Now try doing that when you are going 80 kilometers per hour on the expressway.
Or even when you want to quickly access the aircon system, you have to swipe up. But then again, when I'm driving, let's say I'm driving a left-hand drive car right here, so my eyes are planted on the road, and this is the era that we're talking about where we have augmented reality HUD and heads-up display, so that I don't move my attention from the road and I have to go here, and I do not know if the screen is on. Okay, for a split second, if I look at it,
and it doesn't work.
And I have already bumped into Robert's car.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind having. Just give me an option.
It's a rant for all the car enthusiasts who are from the 90s or prior, or even 2000s people. Give some touch.
Especially if you're going to take away the voice command. For example, for reference, this car on higher trim, which is China only, does come with voice command, which, to be fair, if they did include in Bangladesh, from our previous experience, probably wouldn't work that well.
I believe that MA Enterprise can offer that right now, because this particular unit was one of the first lot, and it was intended for the South African market. And however, now they have a strong suit to ask BAIC to give them a more localized featured car for Bangladesh.
I think they're better off just adding like the Xiaomi Su7 did.
Yeah, right.
Set of not numbers, buttons here.
Button set.
Yeah. Beside this little rant, underneath you get again the climate vents. Inside there's a big storage cubby, and there's a USB connection. I'm guessing it's for to counteract with the infotainment screen. Up top, on higher trim, again China spec only. This is supposed to be a wireless charger. Here you can just keep anything we want. We are keeping the key here. At back, this is cup holders. For some reason, this car gets only one. We're using it for hold our lens right now. Again, this Starship-like gear lever, the emergency parking brake, which is electric, and another cubby hole to store your phone or whatever, which is actually comes really nicely with this cubby hole, where we are cooling our water right now. As this is ventilated, you can actually redirect your aircon air, chilled air, hot air, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, with the
in
button
here.
right here, it's currently turned on.
So that allows us to cool this. As you can see outside, it's absolutely boiling.
Scorching hot.
And there's also a 12-volt charger connection and a USB-A that actually, if you need, there's a channel cut here. We'll show it in the B-roll, which allows you to pull the wire neatly and then allow you to, can I borrow your phone?
Yeah.
Plug it in and just leave it like that.
But before that, I would have to kind of we can use a shorter cable. We did not have a shorter cable, and that's how you're supposed to keep it. But then again, on my long journey, what I've faced is that I couldn't keep my phone here because the wireless charging wasn't working here. So I had to do this. And if I wanted to keep it like this, then again, since I don't have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, I had to continuously access my phone, and then it would just ruin things. I would just keep it here. It would be like this. So with the voice, not the ideal solution. The only thing that can fix this problem is Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. That's how important there is.
Unfortunately, some automakers don't get it. I'm not blaming Beijing.
Well, yeah.
I'm actually pointing finger at a very specific American automaker.
Blonde prick.
Up top, you get this interestingly shaped design with controls for the sunroof and the sunshade, an emergency button, a hazard button, 2 buttons to turn on the map lights, and a sunshade with mirror that has a built-in light.
Oh man, the mirror and with the light helped my passengers so much. They were so glad that this exists.
Okay. I'm kind of tempted to ask more, but I think that's gonna
Married.
get into details that's gonna get you into trouble. All right, that's all the questions we had about the, not questions, opinions we had about the car. Let's put it into drive and see how it feels.
Let's go.
All right, let's put this into drive. Let's turn off the electric parking brake. One little gripe I had when I was first driving this car is the gear lever situation. There is no clear way to tell what goes where, especially since this is a literal, what's it called, joystick. But once you figure it out, it's relatively easy. You pull it back to drive, you pull it back again to put it into sport mode, you pull it back again to
Restore back to your normal drive.
Yeah, and if you do want to try the 7-speed manually, put it to the left. Now, let's start moving. As soon as this Alphard moves away, assuming it's an Alphard.
It's a square.
All right. Now, this car right now is a normal load. So when we push the accelerator, it moves relatively okay. It's comfortable, it's slow, and as you can tell, it's actually rather quiet. The one thing we actually was pleasantly surprised is how quiet it is. Its suspension is actually very planted. It doesn't have the, as you can see, I'm throwing around the steering wheel. There is no body roll. That actually caught both of us by surprise.
The suspension is one of the most dialed in thing in this car, and it is one of the best ones that we all have figured, the ones that drove this car. Especially, I'll talk about my experience. This is one of the best ones that I have experienced so far. However,
the turning radius could be a bit better.
It's a longer wheelbase. It's much longer.
Longer?
It's much longer than the Harrier, the CRV, also the MG HS, I guess. Yeah. And
as for driving dynamics?
As per?
You were talking about suspension.
Yeah, the suspension is absolutely brilliant, and this car is very peppy. It will just, like I was telling you, whenever on the highway there was an overtake in demand, I only had to switch the lever, not shift my feet from the gas. Well, actually, let's.
We have a bit of an open road, so we are putting it into sport mode, and we are about to punch it.
All right.
I just hope our cameraman can hold himself. 3, 2, 1. For the record, it took us a grand total of 3 seconds to reach 80 km/h.
So this has 7.8 second 0 to 100 rating. 0 to 100 speed is in 7.8 seconds.
All right. Beside that, as you can see, we're going through a roundabout right now, and none of us are being relocated to a different seat. You mentioned that was a surprising experience when you actually drove it on the highway.
Right. So, oh my God, he wants to die. However, this is not a sports car, but it behaves like a very well balanced compact car. So I believe that the speed it can take corners in, roughly 80 to 100 kilometers, it is acceptable, rather exceeding what it promises. But anything over that, I think that would be a skill demand, rather than the car trying to baby walk you through a high speed turn through 180 and a tight corner.
Yeah,
this is something you wouldn't do with your family in. So
yeah. That said, the brakes on this car is actually rather nice. If you push it down, it will stop rather gracefully without throwing the rear passengers onto the front passenger seat.
It will not lose traction upon braking. However, this car kind of wobbles, as you reported.
Yeah. But over 100 kilo, 130, the car likes to snake a bit when you slam down the brakes. However, we think that's specific to this unit because while we are driving, we saw it had a tendency to pull to the left.
So it had some alignment issue.
Probably has an alignment issue, as you were saying.
Yeah. So in a daily routine based drive, I think this is very practical, and this offers just the right amount of things. And the only complaint I have about this car is the infotainment for my daily purpose.
Now let's address the elephant in the room, the price.
Me? Or what?
I think I qualify better for that.
Yeah, we're the hard. So the price of this car is 42 lakhs with registration. Considering the registration is about 1.25 lakhs on a 1.5 liter turbo engine. So with a rough calculation,
Let's ballpark it and say 44.
no. That's registration included.
Okay.
So you have 42 and 1.25. If we deduct that, the base price of the car comes somewhere around 40 lakhs 75.
While the price is good, there is also the biggest problem of this car being relatively new. Hell, the entire Chinese car industry is relatively new. So it takes time for people to build trust on it. Now, China and BAIC in general has found a workaround around it by giving some massive, long-lasting discounts. What's the situation in this case?
There is a long-lasting debate. There is a burning issue or a burning question, that is, will these cars last as long as my Japanese variants? To them, my answer is, this brand has come to Bangladesh, and the age of this brand is roughly around 3 to 4 years, and that goes for all Chinese brands in Bangladesh at the moment. Some are even months old only. This BAIC, this particular manufacturer has been in the market or in China since 1952. That's way before the independence of Bangladesh. That's right on the neck of our first language movement. So since then, they have been producing cars, they have been manufacturing, and do not take data of Dhaka or take data of Bangladesh. If you want to be in the market to buy one of these cars, you do your research. We have already done some on your behalf, but we ask you to tally it as well. Go to the South African market, look at their cars, see their user reviews, see the local user reviews, look at the Malaysian reviews, and you will know what the scenario is, how long lasting these cars are. Definitely there will be a 10 years ballpark where you want to be sure about this car. And there is another second burning question, that is the resale value of this car. Majority of the Chinese brands are taking buyback offers. So you might ask, what to do with a buyback offer? To be very honest, an average household does not change their vehicle every five years.
Try 15 years actually.
Try 15 years. I have my Toyota Premio for 17 years now. So the question would be, will this car take me 17 years? I did not have the option back then. The only thing I could choose between is an Alien or a Premio, which is practically the same car.
One Corolla or another Corolla.
Yeah. So I had to go a trim lower, which was a Corolla or an Exio, or I could have gone for a filter. It is the same car all over again. But right now the pantry is very, very colorful. So you have the options. I would not commit myself to a car, being a car enthusiast for 5 years if it's my daily. I would change it. I would change it right at the neck of the warranty period. So I think that would be a smart move to do, because I want to drive more car, I want to avail more cars. So that's my idea. So you have to, actually time is the best answer for these cars, for reliability. I hope that dealerships like M Enterprise and bunch of others who are serious about getting these Chinese market vehicles and trust their product will provide the best and top-notch service quality, after-sale service that I'm talking about.
Fair point. Now, that's all we have to say about this car, I think.
Yeah.
We'll link Rezwan's road trip on the link below and in the embedded if you're in YouTube. If you have any question, comments, or anything for either me or Trusty Garage, feel free to leave it down there. We'll try to reply as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Please do subscribe.